How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan. Born to battle. Start just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the star shines bright, that's when we win. Angry Cowboys Fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and the coverage of George Pickens being franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys is hitting its normal coverage route, meaning it's going around the media circulation like a bat out of hell. In last night's episode, Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ohcocino from Nightcap spoke about George Pickens getting franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys and the implications it could have on George Pickens as well as the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do after that. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to Unc and Ohcocino as they try to determine the fate of Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens.
The franchise tag, it's a gift and a curse. Now, the gift side is the franchise tags. It allows teams, it allows owners to try to find a way to get a long-term deal done. Some owners use the franchise tag as a way to say, listen, I like you, but I don't like you enough or trust you to give you the kind of money I want to or that you deserve long term. So we're gonna make you bet on yourself. We're gonna make you bet on yourself and see if you can do it
For
again.
another year.
Yeah, for another year. But when I look at George Pickens and having his best season statistically with the Cowboys, if you were to probably ask him, he would love to stay. I think what he has going on with CD there and having Dak is a great thing. It's a great thing, but you look at the team in general, collectively as a whole, it'd be somewhat almost like the Bengals. You know, you have 2 great number ones, right? Offensively, you have a great quarterback, but you ain't got nothing on defense at any level. You know, I mean, if you're thinking, I know you, Cowboys fans, if you're in here, listen to me. Just stay with me real quick. If you were to let George Pickens go, you know, and allow him to go somewhere else, allow him to flourish, allow him to have his own team and be able
But
to
they're
use
not
that
going to let
money.
him go, Ocho, because they gave a draft compensation to get him. So you'd be foolish to let him go without trying to get draft compensation for him.
I tell you, Cowboys Nation, why does he sound like that friend of a female who's talking to this guy like, yo, it's just best that you just let her go. Let her have her wings. Let her fly away. If she comes back to you, she's yours. If she doesn't, it was never meant to be. Yo, Chad Ohcocino, chill, bro. But first and foremost, I, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, do not want to just tag and trade George Pickens. I myself want George Pickens to remain in that Dallas Cowboys uniform, continue to make the mark that he did last year on this defense, and continue to move forward with his brothers. Let's keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation. We're not going to get a defense filled with absolute studs this year. We're not going to have a defense that keeps teams scoreless every single game. We need a defense that can keep offenses scoreless when it counts, something that we didn't have last year. Also, the franchise tag isn't just to say that I like you, but I don't like you, or I don't trust you. Let's not tell half the story without telling the full story about the franchise tag. We'll talk about that a little later, Cowboys Nation. But let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Roll the clip.
Okay, let's get draft compensation for him. Let's trade him.
I don't think that's happening.
Let's get some pieces. Listen to me. Let's get some pieces on what we need defensively. Because you got CeeDee Lamb, you get your number 2. You get your a nice number 2 where you can still move the ball efficiently offensively and get what you need on defense. As opposed to you got George Pickens, phenomenal player. You got CeeDee Lamb, phenomenal player. And you ain't got nothing on defense, so you're scoring 38 points a game and the other team's scoring 42. or you're scoring 20, 21, another team scoring 28. So the elephant in the room is still your defensive needs that need to be met over in Dallas.
I mean, to keep it a buck, we had a nice number 2 in Michael Gallup. It didn't work out. We had a all right number 2 in Jalen Tolbert. Didn't work out. Brendan Cooks really didn't work out. But I don't think that happens either, Unc. We have draft capital that we can wheel and deal in order to help fill out what we need on the defensive side of the ball. There are only 2 needs on the offensive side of the ball. One's the running back and the other is the right tackle. That depends on what you plan on doing with Terrence Steele. But everything else on the defensive side of the ball, we're okay. Free agency in the draft can fill the gaps that we don't have. You know what I'm saying, Cowboys Nation? But about 3 pieces is what I'm seeing that this defense needs, and I believe this defense will be top 16. Just mark my words, Cowboys Nation. Now let's go ahead and jump into the last clip so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut.
He gonna want north of that. He gonna want $37-38 million, Ocho, to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly.
And Ocho, he worth it. He's earned it.
Yeah, I speak for the player in general. I speak for the player in general and in wanting him to get all he can. That's all. And a lot of people, upset at me, especially Cowboys fans. Oh, you didn't say that when it came to T and Chase, and T Higgins and Chase wasn't in a situation like Pick. He wasn't going from one team to another. I think he is in a great situation. Just understanding the game that Jerry plays when it comes time to playing players, and I mean, this is a unique situation though. It's a unique situation. I just hope Jerry gets this one right this time. For the sake of that fan base and in the sake of that team offensively. But there's so many questions that need answered defensively.
They do. But Jerry love offense.
I mean, let's keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation. There's been videos out there that have shown you the exact opposite when it comes to Jerry Jones. When it comes to the fact of he doesn't pay his top players, that could be so far from the truth. Just ask DeMarcus Lawrence, ask CeeDee Lamb, ask Dak Prescott, ask Trayvon Diggs, ask Deron Bland. You can ask all these different players. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. You can ask these players, was there a little bit of rigmarole was there any red tape to go through? Yes, Cowboys Nation, there was, but at the end of the day, they got paid. And as far as that figure that Shannon Sharp is talking about, no, he's not, George Pickens is not going to command $37 or $38 million a year. Y'all remember what I said about the price of being happy. The sake of being in an offense that can move the ball up and down the field. Being with a guy that you've connected with on a brotherly level. Y'all ain't never heard about taking a pay cut in order to stay in a position that you love at a company? A position that fits your schedule, that fits your needs? You know what let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
Keeping it real, man. Keep it real. That's real.
I mean, Cowboys Nation. I'm not celebrating it, but Chad Ohcocino kind of sounds a little bit more docile, don't you think? A little bit more respectful in his tone to Cowboys Nation. I wonder why. But anyway, if you worry about the young man's productivity, you would be beating the table. You would be banging on the table for George Pickens to stay a Dallas Cowboy. If it's the money that's the only thing that's on your mind, the money that's the only thing that you're worried about, then you're going to want him to hit the open market. And it sounds as if money is the only thing that's driving Chad Ohcocino. George Pickens' happiness isn't being taken into consideration. His desires isn't being taken into consideration. But Pickens, he seems to be cut from a different cloth when it comes to the wide receivers in the NFL. People may have talked about him quitting on his routes, but one thing that you haven't talked about, one thing that you haven't heard, is him getting mad at the targets that he gets in Dallas. Bro's gonna get his targets. If it's not consecutive games, it's every other game because defensive coordinators are not gonna know how to handle both Pickens and Lamb at the end of the day. The defensive coordinators that came into Dallas for interviews said this much. It was a task to contain both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So he's going to get his touches, Cowboys Nation. And as far as his bread goes, I don't see George Pickens being that receiver that commands the highest paid spot in the NFL. Honestly, I would have thought that would have been CeeDee Lamb more than George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb left a little bit more on the table. He left a little bit more meat on the bones during his contract negotiations. No did he. I believe that George Pickens will do the exact same. I don't believe that it'll be a hometown discount that Jerry Jones is accustomed to, but it won't be the highest paid player in the NFL. It won't be the highest paid wide receiver. Bro has shown way too much humility to rock that way. And let's talk about Ocho Cinco's statement about what the franchise tag means. In some cases, yes, you're absolutely right. The franchise tag is that show me more type of thing, or that I don't trust you yet type of thing. But in other cases, the franchise tag can mean, hey, we want to pay you the figure that you want, but we got to get a little bit more time to be able to meet halfway. We need a little bit more time to negotiate this number that you want and a number that is comfortable with the organization. It doesn't have to be either or, Cowboys Nation. It doesn't have to be a negative in order to franchise tag somebody. And it seems that the strategy that Chad Ochocinco is employing right now is scare tactics. Scaring George Pickens into thinking that Jerry Jones doesn't trust him or doesn't want him on the team when that's absolutely not the case. Jerry Jones has stopped at nothing about raving about George Pickens and his ability on the offensive side of the ball all year. All he's done was do interviews and say how George Pickens amazes him. So I highly doubt that the Dallas Cowboys are using the tag because they don't trust George Pickens. He's given them absolutely no reason not to trust him. But I will say this, Cowboys Nation. Chad Ochocinco brings up an honest concern when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and that's ending up like the Cincinnati Bengals. Great offensive weapons, but no defense. I just don't think that's the case here in Dallas, though. Last year, I believe it was the teacher and not the students. It was the coaching and not the players. I mean, sure, can we stand to get better pieces in key areas on the defensive side of the ball? Absolutely. But I don't think that this defense is more closer to the rebuild of the defense than it is just needing a few pieces to add to the guys that we already have now. The Dallas Cowboys need a premier pass rusher in order to get to the quarterback on a consistent basis. That will help the front four as well as help the defensive backs that are already on this team, Malik Hooker included. But this defense is going to be predicated on who the Dallas Cowboys bring in during free agency, as well as who they draft in the 2026 NFL Draft. It depends on if Christian Parker can coach these guys up and who fits his defensive scheme. Do they go for a linebacker out of Ohio State and Sonny Styles, or do they go for the safety in Caleb Downs, even though I don't think Caleb Downs is going to slide to the Dallas Cowboys' 12th pick? But I'm going to tell you now, Cowboys Nation, this team doesn't need world beaters on the defensive side of the ball. It doesn't need a defense that's ranked number 1 overall. It would be nice, but I feel that this team needs a top 16 defense overall to help this offense flourish. They don't have to hold opposing offenses scoreless, but what they do need to do is to get the stops that they need to get. That's just like a quarterback position. You don't need your quarterback to be elite 24/7. I know that's impossible, Cowboys Nation, but all you need is for him to be elite when the moment calls for it. So, Cowboys Nation, I truly feel that Jerry and Stephen Jones will do the right thing when it comes to George Pickens. I feel they won't pay him $40 million, but I do feel that they will pay between $34 and $36 million for him. That would pay him a little bit more than CeeDee Lamb, but would keep him from breaking the bank. If Micah Parsons can say what's the difference between $30 and $40 million, I would ask the question, what's the difference between $36 and $37 million? But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what did you think about the guys over on Nightcap and what they had to say about George Pickens? Do you feel that Jerry and Stephen Jones will do the right thing by George Pickens and get him signed? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will help get the content over to even more Dallas Cowboys fans. They'll come over here and want to be DC for life. And if you're DC for life and you hope that George Pickens will be a Dallas Cowboy for years to come, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay on the new channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll put the link to that as well as my gamer tag in the description. No disrespect to Chad Ohcocino, but Cowboys Nation rejects what you're saying because we want Pickens to be a Dallas Cowboy. We want him to remain a Dallas Cowboy. It may be about the money to you, but it might not be about the money to George Pickens. So let's go ahead and get out of this man's pockets and allow him to make the decision for himself. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.